You can count on the Woodlands. Every weekend there's something going on. See this intersection? They got the lights flashing. They got marshals over there. So there's some kind of event going on. I'm not sure what it is, but there's always something. Always. So it's kind of like a four-way stop sign here. And everybody stops because the light's flashing. So it's like I think it's like a running event because they've already had the Ironman. So I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, going to pick up the group. We're going out to Bailey Grove today. Bailey Grove eastbound. A shorter ride than usual, than we usually do. It's about a little over 100K. Paul is not feeling well today, so he's not going to be attending. So.
On this ride, I left Northampton, rode into the Woodlands, picked up the group at the Alden Village Center. We headed out on Research Forest, down Honia, Egypt, through the Grand Lake Estates. All of that's on camera, lots of action. We got into Keenan, Spring Branch Road, past Gary. We filmed until we got into Montgomery. And then we continued Bailey Grove down to 149, which took us back to Taco on the way back. So we rode about 40 miles before we stopped. Then we took Walden Road up South Pine, Capitol Hill to Fish Creek, and took Fish Creek Boulevard back into the Woodlands. Paul did not attend this ride. He was not feeling well, but I think you will like the clips that I put together for you guys. We're on the open road. We're headed towards the FM 2978, Montgomery County, Texas. A beautiful morning. We are actually having a gradual warm-up in southeastern Texas this year. We actually are experiencing spring temperatures. As you can see, it says 20 Celsius. That's 69 degrees Fahrenheit. In May, that is rare. So we're enjoying it while it lasts. That's Abby on the left. That's Alejandro Lopez on the right. We're heading out. We had the usual speech in the parking lot about if you're feeling good, take longer pulls. Nobody ever listens. And so the theme of this film is to show you what happens when people don't pace themselves. We end up having one rider that within about less than 10 kilometers, it's clear he's not going to be able to hold his pace. This group is just at a level higher than he can sustain. And it shows, and then the chink in his armor is he's not drafting very well. You will see that. Because I end up, when I realize I have the camera on my bike, so I try to get everybody in by staying at the back. And he ends up in front of me, but he's off the wheel, working really hard. And he ends up expending a lot of energy. The guy on the right is my first time riding with him. His name is Christian. He's wearing a kit from one of the local shops. I got to chat with him on the way after the ride. We rode together for a few kilometers, headed in the same direction, headed south towards Gosling Road. He headed home while I was cooling down. He's more fluent in Spanish than English. So I basically just let them know, habla un poquito de español. I know a bit of Spanish. I can catch the words, I can catch the gist of the conversation. So I'm making an effort to learn more of that language. Because a lot of the guys here speak Spanish. So I kind of want to know what they're talking about. But they'll be talking to each other in Spanish. You know, you pick up a few words. I want to pick up more words. So I'm going to start working on it. I've got, I think, Babel or Rosetta Stone, one of them on my computer. Targeting. I've had the software since I used to consult in IT. We used to use it. We're headed towards the FM 2978. We're going to turn right and go on to Pony Egypt Community Road. Car up, careful guys. There's a car turning onto this road that we're on. So I'm letting the guys on the left know. So we turn, there's a driver that slows down for us. I go ahead and thank him. That's what that guy's doing. He's thanking him. He slowed down, he saw us turn.
Thursday was excellent.
Yeah, I rode with Abby's group on Thursday. It's a very good ride.
Good ride, yeah, good ride.
It was a very enjoyable ride. He did his best to try to keep people under control, try to keep the group together as much as possible without stifling the fun of everyone. So these drivers coming our way see that part of our group has turned, so they slowed down for us, and we thank them. And so right here, this is what I'm talking about. The guys at the front, they're not even looking behind to see what the rest of the group is doing. I mean, we've got at least 15 people here, I'm estimating. And 3 to 4 people turn and they act like everything's okay. You got to look behind. You got to make sure everybody's back together. Then you start the ride. So in a little bit, we're going to have to chase up. I'm just sitting behind here watching to see who wants to get up there. Abby's calling out to them to slow down. You know, Kenny's at the front and Kenny's trying to get back in shape. So I think that is, his name is Jordanian, the guy in the yellow. He's closing the gap, but he's closing the gap by himself. He's not taking, Erwin was on his wheel, the guy on the, is this Erwin? No, this is a new guy. This is the guy who has trouble, this is not Erwin, Erwin wasn't on the right. This is a guy who has trouble with the pace, this guy here. I never got his name. I got to the ride right at 7:30, just ready to go.
Go, go, go! Let's go now!
So, but I can see already the fact that when Jordanian took off to join the group, he couldn't stay on Jordanian's wheel, which is not an indicator of his fitness. It doesn't mean maybe he didn't want to go that hard. Jordanian went so hard, the guy in the yellow on the left, to close the gap. Like he was only thinking about himself as opposed to pulling us along. I could get, Abby could close it. We all could get that. But the thing is you got to ride with the people that you're with. And a lot of people are not cognizant of that. You know, that's fine. I don't hold anything against them. It's just that when I do these videos, I'm trying to let you know that when you're riding with people, ride with them. So if there's a gap and you're going to close the gap, it's not a race. So pull the people that are with you, take a pull and pull them back. If you can close the gap by yourself, pull them back. Don't just close the gap individually with no passengers. It's not like you guys are competing at this point. You know, that's what I mean. So it looks like there's some kind of camaraderie. So there's a guy behind me, Jerry, who was injured earlier in the year. Jerry Lutner. You guys know Jerry. He's been on several films. So he's back on the bike. And he's riding and he's fine, but he always sits on the back and he's on his aero bars. So he leaves a bit of a cushion. Right here, I'm backing off so I can see this little strip of smooth asphalt. I'm still on it. I'm riding a white line. That's why I gave myself enough room. I did not want to get on the rough part at that point, so now I moved back over. But the whole time I'm watching that this guy is not in the draft. And I'm watching his body language, and he appears to be really working. And, you know, I don't know him. It's the first time I've seen him, so I'm thinking, well, this is a long ride. And we're not riding hard right now, but if you're not, how can I say, if you're not economical or efficient, you pay the price in a long ride. So several things stand out for me about him. First of all, I think his saddle's too high. He looks like he's doing leg presses more than anything. You see how his whole body kind of rocks? He's trying to drive the pedals. It's almost like he can't really reach down. I don't understand why a lot of riders saddle when it's off. It's usually high. I guess it looks cool or whatever. But just a high percentage of my customers, when they come in, this saddle's very high. I'm always bringing them down. It's rare that I'm going up. Even Paulie Longa, when I met him, his saddle was like 2.5 inches too high. You know, so I'm just saying, I guess it looks cool. They see the pros and then, you know, it looks high or whatever. But if you watch his lower back, there's a lot of rocking. It's not excessively high, but it's high enough to where his whole torso, every time he pedals, it's moving. That means he's not really able to drive the pedals at the lowest point. When it's down there, it's like he's leaning into it, kind of, and that's not very efficient. That's a lot of energy being wasted, and then he's robbing himself of being able to generate power or use the big muscles in the back of his legs, like his hamstring and stuff. So he's really using mostly quads. And now look at the gap between him and Abby. He's not really in the draft. Now I don't know if it's because he's not comfortable following the wheels, you know. And then sometimes when you're not comfortable with the group, you have a tendency to sit like that, but still it's breezy here, and it's a false flat on Honia Egypt. So he's working really hard, and I'm just sitting and watching, and he'll start to struggle a little bit. I'm going to go to the front. I don't know if it's here, but look at the gap. It's like he's riding alone. He's not really taking advantage of the draft. So I don't know if it's inexperience coupled with just not being comfortable with the group or whatever, but I never got his name or anything. And that's the thing that I kind of kicked myself for. I should have made some time, but I got to the ride right at 7:30 on purpose. I just wanted to ride, and I'd never met him. I never saw him before. He's not one of the people on the roster, so to speak. So maybe someone invited him. Hopefully he'll come back and I'll get a chance. But when you go to a ride and you don't know people, try to, you know, just at least say hi to someone. I don't know, you know. Maybe I should have reached out to him, but we really didn't have the time. As soon as I got there, we were ready to go. So maybe next time. So I never got his name or anything. But if you watch him, he's not in the draft. This is not efficient. So I think here is where I'm going to go up and try to give him my wheel. But I think at that point, we're doing 400 watts right there. You see the gap? So I move up and I tap my hip to let him know to get on my wheel. Jerry's behind us. He's not drafting. He's just kind of watching everything. But he had expended so much energy. So right there, he's not able to stay on my wheel. And I want to get in the draft here. So I ride up to these guys. I didn't go very hard. I'm doing like 22, 23. Just bringing us gradually back. Gradually back. There you go. So I brought us back. But by the time I got back here, he couldn't stay on the wheels. So when we get in the neighborhood, I'm going to slow everybody down, and he'll get a chance to catch back up. Then Jerry would tell him to go in the middle of the group because it's easier there. And he listens and he does that. But still, once we start hitting those rollers, it was clear, you know, it's just he's not at this level at this point. That's all. He just needs to train more. So I'm sitting on the middle of the road here. I've got my tubular tires on. They're very comfortable. You heard the camera rattling a little bit. That's Darren on the right. So based on this effort, I'm right below sweet spot. I'm like zone 3 tempo. And what I have found that works, and there's a lot of stuff on YouTube and all of that, I found that you just need to ride, say, 80% of your training should be aerobic endurance. It doesn't mean that you don't go hard, but not all the time. But most of your training should be aerobic endurance, because then when you go hard, the quality is good. We're really moving here. And if you look at my cadence, it's up. I stay a little to the left of Darren so I don't have to brake. I just kind of soft pedal when the group slows down. I've been able to train consistently over the last couple of months, and so my fitness is much improved. So besides you training 80% aerobically, make sure you focus on how your bike feels. Try to ride better. What I mean by that is tweak your fit. Make sure all the little niggling issues are worked out so that you can relax those muscles that you don't need for pedaling. Because if you're not very comfortable, you will try to offload the uncomfortable area. You'll be putting weight on your hands and so forth. That takes energy. Anytime you're clenching or tensing up, that takes energy. And that's not efficient. The muscles you're not using to pedal the bike should be relaxed. That keeps your heart rate from spiking, you're not burning excess calories. So you don't need a group to get faster, but it is easier when you ride with others, at your level. It's more fun, mentally not as taxing, but there are times when you should train by yourself, when you're focusing on specific things. This is why I'm gonna let them know if somebody's off the back. I don't know him.
We lost one rider. I don't know who he came with or if he's independent. I'm gonna make sure he knows the way. I don't know the guy. There's a guy, we lost one guy. I don't know if he knows the route or not. He was on a...
I didn't remember. I knew he had blue shorts.
One guy.
I think that driver was blowing at somebody behind me or something. The sun is in his eyes, and he wanted to make sure nobody got in his way, I guess. So by the time
we lost one guy, I don't know him. There was one guy.
I thought maybe some of these guys knew him, but it seemed like nobody knew him. I don't know how he found out about the ride.
He's in like a multicolored jersey. There was a guy in a multicolored jersey. Let's keep going.
So yeah, Abby said, what you want us to do? I said, let's just keep going. So as soon as I said that, then I noticed that he was back. And Jerry would tell me.
First time on the ride, I don't know him. Keep going. I don't know who he is. Yeah.
So Jerry's gonna let me know in a little while that he told him. I will notice that he's back. I will see him. So I'm drifting to the back, letting everybody come up. Is that Jerry? No, that's Darren.
Okay, he's here.
So I see him.
Good. Okay, we're all together. Let's go. There he is.
That's him. So Jerry told him to go up.
Yeah, I don't know him. So that's the guy. He's back. We're good. Hopefully he's got the route. Yeah, he was not sitting on the wheel.
So I was telling Jerry he wasn't sitting on the wheel. So yeah, the thing is once you start struggling in the group like that, especially early, we haven't hit the hardest part of the route.
I just sit in.
The concern is, are you going to be able to finish the ride? So Jerry told him to go in the middle, but I could tell already that he just needs some more work, to get to this level. But
yeah, during the week I can't get out there.
So
during the week,
I could tell that he was a little uncomfortable being in the wheel. So that means he hasn't done a lot of group
this morning, but he didn't see me.
Because even if you're out of shape, if you ride, if you ride efficiently, you can kind of prolong.
West Rayford from Gosling.
So right now we're kind of like settling in again. We're not really riding here. And so now, as soon as we start to ride again, we're going to hit a bunch of hills and he's going to start struggling again. So
okay. And it was early, so
I never got his name.
to get there. Yeah. He was headed towards North Crest. And it's all wet. There's the sprinkler system.
Yeah, we're talking
still
about,
running
I
west
saw
of the river.
Mole when I was coming
So
on this
was
ride. He
way
was
over on the
headed
right, trying to
west.
avoid me.
So,
Yeah, they started 7 o'clock from basically the HEB.
Okay.
And then a coffee place called Loki's.
so
Okay.
yeah, I saw Mole near where I live. I was heading out to this ride, and he was going west to pick up their ride start. To start from one of the local shopping centers. That's what we're talking about. So right now we're not really riding hard, and then it will just pick up. Somebody will go to the front. I think there is a gap right now. I think there are 2 or 3 guys off the front a little bit. Then we're gonna start
Every time I ride with you,
catching up.
you're 10 years younger. He doesn't like the spotlight. Whenever you give him a compliment, he changes the topic.
The speed bumps here are very forgiving in this neighborhood. I don't even have to stand. I just transfer my weight to the pedals, and the bike just kind of glides over nicely. I didn't get to meet this guy in the red either. He rode with us pretty much all the way. So this is where the pace starts to pick up, and we're going downhill. There are hills, little hills coming up between maybe 3 and 4%, and then they continue like a false flat for about probably 5 kilometers before we exit the neighborhood. I like coming through here because depending on what's going on, you always have wind either from the east or the south. So Kenny and them, I guess they're trying. I think there are a few guys off the front. You can see the distance. So Kenny's riding up there. So this is the same guy. And he, right here, as I go by, I can see he's really struggling to hold his pace. And we've all been there. So hopefully he'll come back. We didn't have anybody that wanted to break up the group and stay like a group B. So everybody was riding here. And a few people turned off early once we got into Montgomery. You can see the road going up here. It hasn't registered, but this is not zero. There we go. This is not zero. It starts to go up. I think that's a stop sign, and then will curve, and it kicks up in a hurry. So you got to really watch your gearing. You can see my watts going up. I'm not watching that when I'm riding. I just pay attention to what gear I'm in and whether I'm on top of it or not. With all the accelerations, you don't want to lug your gear. So now, what I was talking about pacing yourself, how to pace yourself in a group. I sit on the back and I watch these guys, and there are certain people that will go to the front the first hour and just let it all hang out. But then hour 3, we're on the way back, and you don't see them again. They're sitting in the rest of the ride because they have spent themselves. You don't want to do that. You need to work smart. Abby's going up there to ask these guys to stop accelerating on the hills. They're not going to listen to them. Because every time we come to the hills, they act like they're sprinting up the hills. The hills are short, so that's why. And on a long climb, you do that, you're going to pay the price. I moved to the left so I don't have to brake.
Car up, Abby, get car up.
I'm letting Abby know there's a car coming.
Car up,
He's
car
out
up.
there. So he was going up to ask them to, probably that guy was already hanging on for dear life, but So when they're riding like this and it's not what you want to do, if you can hold the pace, sit in the wheels. Don't help them. Just sit in the wheels. If you end up at the front, pull off. Go back to the back. Let them continue what they started. sitting right on the left side of Abby. We're going to be turning right in about 500 meters.
Nice try, but those guys don't listen.
I told him nice try because I saw him go up there.
I wait till they tire themselves out. I don't help them.
So this is another false flat. We turn on. I'm not sure if this is called the Hills Parkway or if it's still Grand Lake. Grand Lake Estates Drive. Once we get outside the back gate, then I think it's called the Hills Parkway. But it's like a false flat, then in about 300 meters, it will kick up. And we'll have a gap. Everybody's looking at each other. They just let the wheels go. And so I see Abby going, I just slipped on his wheel. That's what I mean. Pace yourself. I'm not wasting any energy. I sit on Abby's wheel and we're gonna go. Because when we turned, they were there. But that happens a lot. So Abby pulls us back to these guys and we just kind of sit in. And then the road's gonna kick up in a little bit. There's a little street called Linda's Place coming up. I think this is it. Yeah, this is Linda's Place. And the road kicks up. You can see it's like 3 point something. You feel it more than anything. And the guys are always pushing every time you get there. So if somebody's pushing, I think I'm in the same gear and I just spin it up. Then I shift up. See how close I am to Abby's wheel. I stay a little to the right or left. That way I could just use the wind friction to slow me down when necessary, because he gets sucked into the wheels. It's going to start descending, so our speeds are going to go up. Whenever you're in a bunch, pay attention. It's not the time to relax. Stay close. Use the draft. Keep your eye on the other riders. Always be vigilant. sure. I don't know if the gate was open or not. We don't have the code for this area like we used to. The sense changer, yeah, it's open. So that car that passes a truck has gone through. Abby wants to make sure that we're all together. I just roll up here. I'm telling him to back off a little bit. That's Jordanian. So that everybody kind of gets together. I'm looking in my mirror to make sure everybody's getting in a little bit. We're going to form the pace line again. Because once we went through that gate, there were a lot of gaps in the group. You always got to look for that. Keep your group together. I'm trying to avoid being at the front because I don't want to film the road, so I expected more people to come by. I think in a little while I'll pull out of the line. So you guys look at this guy's back. Look at the middle of his back. You see how it's stable? That's the difference who I was explaining with the other guy who was struggling. His torso is not rocking. So he's not reaching for the pedals every time he goes down. That means his saddle position is right for him. That's the difference. You shouldn't have to be rocking to get to the bottom of the pedals on each side, your whole body moving back and forth. So that guy needs some tweaking, you know. And then the more you ride, the more uncomfortable you will be because all that rocking causes chafing where you sit on the saddle. So then when you get in the shower, all that burns. It's like, you know, it makes your skin raw under there. So that's why you got to get a good fit. The more you ride, you got to tweak your position so you're comfortable. I pull out of the line and wave people up. I'm going to drift to the back so I can get more people in there. Scene. Our line is tight. Abby gave me a thumbs up because he knew I went to the front to slow Jordanian down. Not everybody's in the group is looking around for the other riders. You got to look around. So this is the last rider. So that guy who was struggling is no longer with us. He's in the neighborhood. So Jerry's behind me right now. In a little while, when we get on Keenan cutoff, we'll split again and Jerry will pull us back. Because what ends up happening is every time we come to an intersection, some people get caught out of, there's a car coming after a few people get through. Then the people that get through don't slow down and wait for the group to get back together. They just keep riding. And I don't like to spend too much energy in those situations. It's like, if we ride together and traffic breaks us up, you didn't really earn that gap. You might as well just soft pedal till the group gets back together. You hear how quiet it is once I'm always looking for the draft because the wind changes because these roads are not straight. They're curved. If you look at the little inset map, they're moving left and right. So every time it moves, the wind changes a little bit what direction it's coming from. And so I'm constantly looking for the best draft. And I found it right here for this moment anyway. This is the Hills Parkway we're on. It gets up to like 4% or so, probably 4 or 5%, right as we're leaving to get the Keenan cutoff. And people always push up on this climb. Yeah, like 4.1 there. And we're still on it. So we're going to be turning left, and so at the intersection there will be a split. It always happens at intersections. So when you're riding with the group and you're trying to be conservative, stay close. Don't let gaps form because you're going to have to close it. And even if you're following someone else, you're still going to have to be riding faster than you would need to had you stayed close. So some riders have already turned. We're waiting for these cars. So once we turn, we have a gap, and they don't slow down. They're already up ahead. And right here, no one wants to pull. You can see how we're bunching up. So after a while, Jerry, who's behind me, that's his shadow you see on my left. That's Jerry. He's going to go around, go to the front, and he's going to pull until we get to like 149. I'm calling him up. He's like, "What's up?" Let him know that I don't help these guys. I said, I don't help out. Yeah, I was like,
That's why I'm not taking up the taco first, because then they make excuses.
oh man. So what I was telling Jerry is a lot of times we'll have people that will just ride to taco and then come back, and then they will really empty the tank to taco, but they're not really doing the whole ride. You guys have probably heard it on several films we've put out here, and that's fine. So when the people who are not doing the full ride start overexerting themselves, I don't help. It's like let them empty that tank. If you can sit in, you sit in. So someone now finally decided to start riding. We still have a gap. We have about 3 riders or so that probably about 10 seconds ahead or something like that. And this road is up and down. Keenan Cutoff Road. Very heavily cycled road. We're single file. This road is a 2-way traffic road. It's not a high volume, but they're moving at a good clip. And just to be courteous, the shoulder is small and it's full of debris in certain spots. So we mostly stay near the white line. It's not very clean. There's a lot of construction going on in the area. That's why the road looks dusty. The trucks are hauling dirt to fill lots. So the main group is here. We've got a few guys up ahead. We end up catching up with them when we get to 140. Goes to the front. It's like he's moving up to the front. He's gonna go and start pulling us. That's Jerry. Because whoever's at the front is not making much progress. So Jerry goes and he's going to pull us closer. By the time we get to 149, we're all back together. See how much the draft helps? I'm not even pedaling and I'm passing these guys because I'm in the draft. So by not having to brake, I'm not wasting any energy to get rolling again. I just resume pedaling and slip behind them. The road's pretty much almost leveled off here. About 24 miles an hour. We're going to hold this pace all the way to 149. This pretty much reels those three guys in. I think Jerry's at the front. And here we were 27 miles an hour. So you see how I came up on Kenny? That's what happens in the draft. So you got to lay off the brakes. I just drifted to the right and let the wind slow me down. The more you ride in a group, you'll get more comfortable with that. Braking should be a last resort. And if you're going to brake hard, knowing people are behind you, you got to take evasive action. We're slowing down here, so I'm just kind of rolling the gear I'm in. That's why I'm not tight on Kenny's wheel. It's not that hard. The effort has dropped. So at 149 here, we've caught up to those guys. It's clear, so we turn. And I think I get straight on the shoulder. Yep.
Car back.
We're going to be here for probably about a kilometer. A little over a half mile, and we're going to turn left. Spring Branch Road. thought there was something on the shoulder. I used the lane as I saw Abby go out and there were no cars coming. I'm going to go back. Shoulder's good. They're braking really hard here. I'm not sure why. Yeah, they're like somebody hit the brakes. I'm like, you don't need to be braking. We're going up a hill anyway. Like, take your momentum and enjoy it. You're braking on the hill. I'm not sure what they were doing, but anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure. I set car back. He's still sitting there. I look in my mirror. I think he's going to start slowing down. So I'm going to slow the driver down. And you will see me move up in the group after this guy goes. Because he doesn't know what we're doing. He's trying to get by. These guys are on and off the road. So I put my arm out. The driver kind of let me know it's okay. So I'm going to take the lane. And I'm going to move up in the group and let them know. I'll let the driver know I'm going to move by the yellow line so nobody else passes. Let them know we're turning. So as the caboose, you need to be looking out for your group. If you're the last rider, you got to be looking out for what's coming. That's why I did that. Now, we turn over here. Not everybody turned together. There's a huge gap. He starts to ride. I initially sit on his wheel, but then when I look in my mirror, I look behind, I'm like, these guys are far away. So why am I the only one looking behind? You gotta look behind. You're riding with people. It's like, come on. So I slow down. I get off his wheel, I slow down. And I'm waiting for the group to come. That's not how you break away. You break away when everybody's riding and you just go harder. Not at the turns or the corners or stoplights or that foolishness. You have to earn it. So that's Roy, and then there's another guy. I think it's no, that's Alejandro. And I'm not sure he's leaving a gap on Roy's wheel. Like, okay, are you gonna follow him or not? So this is where the group is all fractured. So now I'm waiting for the group to come by. I only see these three guys. And I decide, okay, if nobody else is going to come and form a line, I'm just going to go ahead and ride up to this guy and let's keep riding. Because this is not sightseeing. Everybody acting like it was a hiatus or something. So I just start riding. And then they're going to slot in behind me. So I just go by. Then in a little bit, people are going to decide, oh, they're ready to ride. So Jordanian comes by. He was not with those other two. He came from behind, and it's like, okay, so I'm going to get on his wheel. I'm like, okay. I don't know if I get on his wheel or get on Roy's wheel. I think Roy's going to pass him. But then I noticed that the group is not trying to even get a baseline going. So I just go ahead and ride with these two guys. And then they start riding. Because everybody's worried about that climb that's in the distance. We got a 9% climb coming up. So I go ahead and speed up. You see my cadence? I just rev the gear I'm in. to get with these guys because they're the ones that want to ride. I'm just going to slip in here. We're not going to crawl to that climb. We're going to ride to it. So now, once I do this, now the rest of the group realizes, okay, these guys are riding. We better get in line or something. The reason we like these roads, I mean, that car that went by, I thought it was pretty fast for the area. Anyway, these are people's homes. If you look on both sides, these fences, there are homes, there are farms, people got their barn, whatever. So you don't have a high volume of traffic. You've got people that own a lot of acreage out here. So it's always quiet. And when you have a low density population in an area, people behave differently. They're not in a hurry. They're not rushing everywhere. Like we do in the cities. So the guy who kept riding, we're going to catch him on the hill. And then I think the guy in front is going to start sprinting. So I sprint and I end up going off the front unintentionally. If I turn off the power, then they'll come back around. And, you know, they start stuff, then they stop. I mean, in the middle of the climb, he stops sprinting. I'm like, you're supposed to, if you're going to sprint on a climb, you got to finish the climb. What's the point of stopping on the hill? It's already hard. So he sees the guy in the distance. That's why he's pouring it on. So we're coming up to this hill, and Abby comes on the left, and everybody starts sprinting. So I stand up, look at my shadow. I go by Abby, I sprint up. I'm still standing. I'm in a big gear. I'm going up. This guy quit. We're on the hill, and he quit. I'm like, come on. So Jerry comes by. I roll past. This is the guy who was up front. We passed him. Then Jerry starts to slow down, so I'm going to go around him. Right there, he turns off the power. I just continue riding. I want to finish the climb. And so once I realize, okay, I'm filming the road, I turn off the power a bit. You can see my watch will go down. Yeah, 2 something. I turn off the power. I'm in a gear that I can rev up when they come by. I'm waiting for them to come by. I hear them talking. I'm like, come on, come on. Then, okay, so that's the guy we passed. Now I want to see who else is coming. I'm just still riding. I'm staying on the edge of the road where it's smooth right here, the white line. And then I see Jerry. And I don't know if I got on Jerry or I waited. So I look down and I start seeing wheels. So when the last wheel comes, I slip. At this point, the group is split. The guy who stopped on the hill, we've lost him. Because where he stopped was the worst place to stop. It was like 8 or 9% at that point. You don't stop on the hill like that, but his legs seized up. He went harder than he was able to, and he simply could not finish the climb. And right there, we lost him. We didn't see him again until we got into Montgomery near the light at Taco Corner, heading towards Taco Corner, even though we didn't go directly there. So he basically overdid it. I just sit on the back. So every time we come to that hill, people get excited. But it was funny. They started the sprinting. All of a sudden, I stood up. But what happened is now, for those of you watching, you want to be able to sprint longer, train longer. Train longer in lower intensities. That will give you what we call durability. It takes durability to be able to really go hard. Going hard for short periods is okay to train certain systems, but if you want endurance, you got to put some hours in. You got to strengthen your whole body. I don't know what he's doing. He goes to the left, he's talking to the guy, so I don't let him in. I just roll on the guy's wheel. He was in the line, he pulls up to the left to talk to the guy about what? This is not time to talk. I don't know why he does that all the time on every ride. And the guy, he's going hard. He didn't want to talk. So I took his spot because he was behind this guy. So everybody's trying to recover from all the efforts back there. That's what's going on here. I believe I remain seated here. You see the watts going up. We're going up a slight grade. So don't just train to be able to go hard for 15 seconds. Train to be able to go hard for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Or do your AT work for 20 minutes. That's what it takes. Whoa! There's a car that almost pulled out in front of us. That guy spotted there. I ended up tapping him on the back. The guy, he pulled off now.
Good job, good job.
I told him good job because he didn't freak out. He just spread out. So we didn't have to brake. That driver simply did not look. Some people don't take the responsibility of driving an automobile very seriously. How are you going to be coming onto a road and not look to see if it's clear? What are you, playing Russian roulette? Go figure. So everyone we lost on that hill basically did not make it back until we got to the stoplight after Lone Star Parkway, which I believe is even off camera because the camera stops recording at the end of Spring Branch behind Montgomery High School. That's why you have to pace yourself. So that was a clear example of the guy in front who had pulled us back, and then he gets to the hill and he starts to sprint, and he overexerted himself. Basically his legs seized up. Because a stop like that was not planned. Because that was the wrong spot. He stopped on the steepest pitch of that climb. So if you do not train your sprints, when you come in a group ride and start to sprint, your body is not able to tap into the ATP and whatever you need to be able to create that anaerobic energy that you need for sprinting. So if you want to be sprinting, you got to train for sprinting. So whatever it is you need to be able to do, you got to be able to do it in practice and then come put it out. You can't just come in and surprise your body. So when people say that they don't need to train 20 hours a week or 30 hours a week or whatever, yeah, that's true. If you train specifically for the adaptations that you need for the kind of riding you need or the kind of riding you do. If all you're doing are steady endurance rides while you're touring and doing whatever, you don't need to do any sprints. But if you're riding with these guys over here that want to ride their legs off and are hammering every hill and you want to stay with them, then you got to train like that. Because sprints hurt. You know, high intensity hurts. So you got to be able to get there and tap into those sugars and whatever you need for your body to be able to process in the absence of oxygen. That's the adaptation. So all the other work that you do to raise the ceiling of your functional threshold power or your anaerobic threshold, that's all good and well. But anaerobic threshold training alone is not the recipe for everything. You have to mix it up. So we never backed off. After all that stuff, we just kept the pace going. Jordana is sitting at the front. I'm on John's wheel. And the reason I'm here is because no one else wanted to be here. I actually wanted to be the last in the group, but nobody wanted to come through. So I just took the gap as it presented itself. And that's what you have to do. That saves you energy. So you're not hanging out in the wind, producing a lot of energy in the wind and wasting your calories. You know, you gotta save your, you gotta sip your gas. So the ride kind of settled down. The terrain is a little gentle, so you can see the watts have dropped. So John takes over, Jordanian pulls off. I end up right here, not even pedaling because we're going slightly downhill. Yes, that's -2. I have to get low when I'm behind John because John is smaller than I am. So when he's in the drops, I have to get low. So we're going to be turning right at the end of this road. It usually kicks up before we get to the turn. See the watts going up. To maximize power, you have to use the proper cadence. It's cadence that produces power. The velocity of you spinning the gear. We're turning right. So I roll to the right. I'm going to turn. It's clear. I can see this intersection to the left is open. You can see over the fence. I see that it's clear. I go ahead and turn. Now once you turn, it's like a grade. It's a 1.7. It felt more than that. So I downshift and just kind of spin the gear, you know, let the group get together. I guess I'm going too slow. Another guy is going to come around. So I'm standing here. I think to ruin the road is this scraping that did in these corners. It's not necessary. People need to slow down when it's wet. So Jordanian takes off. Then I see John. And this is Alejandro. I think then I'm going to get on his wheel. Then I'm going to roll around him because he keeps leaving a gap. He's not quite on John's wheel, and he just sits here. It's like, you need to get in the draft. Look at the gap. So I think then he looks down. I guess he's looking to see what gear he's in, but it's like, it's time for a bigger gear or spin that one faster. Whatever you're going to do it. So he sits there, and then I just move to the left. I revved the gear up and stopped pedaling, and that's all I needed to get on the wheel. So I'm not sure why he was sitting back there catching wind. It's better to do a sharp effort, get in the draft, turn it off, sit. This road is very deceiving. It's not flat. You see 1.0 or whatever, the whole time it's been between 1% and 2%. And so after all the work we did on Spring Branch, this road hits your legs. You got to use the proper gear. So we get near the railroad tracks, and the guy in yellow who had pulled all the way back there as well before John took over, he came back around early in that corner as you saw. We get to the railroad track, he turns off the power like, this is like we decided to stop riding here. I just go by. I'm like, he should have just stayed in the back. But he didn't respect this road. There's 3% here. It's hitting him right now. Because you can feel it. I'm downshifting. I'm right. You see look at my cadence. Right there, he turned up the barrel like for what? So I just go. Like, we're not stopping here. So he's done too much work in a short period of time, and he has not recovered. So I just go to the front and just keep the group rolling. Nothing special. We're doing like maybe 18 miles an hour, if that. But we he just sat up. Like, you done pulling? Get out of the way. And somebody I know says that all the time. Like, you done pulling? Flip to the side. Let somebody else take over. So when you don't pace yourself properly, your legs will let you know. And sometimes it will let you know at the worst possible time that, hey, I need a break. By either you cramping, or it just starts to burn, or it seizes up on you. You never know. It's different for everybody. So we're going to be turning left at this corner here. This is Highway 105. We're east of Magnolia High School.
Turn.
So we get the green light. We're going to go west on 105. At this point, the boys are getting tired, so nobody really wants to lead. I just go ahead and ride to the front and do my pace. So I stay on the right of those rumble strips that they basically made into the pavement. You don't want to ride on those; they're very uncomfortable. They're there to alert drivers when they're drifting off the road. So in a little bit, I'm gonna basically ride on the white line, because the rumble strip, the shoulder gets very narrow, and the rumble strip takes up most of it. And I don't want to ride on the edge of the shoulder, because if you miss the edge and you end up in the grass, it's just a mess. So right here, I move left, and I let everybody know. I'll wave them to let them know that we're going to ride on the road. Even the painted line has a little bit of ripples in them as well, so that's what you hear. But it's about probably 1.5 kilometers, and we're going to be turning. And then once we turn, I'll get off the front. But this is the part of the ride where we start to ride as we're supposed to, because they've gotten it out of their system. And even off camera, some people went straight to Taco. We did not go straight to Taco. We did 40 miles before we stopped, as opposed to 25. Or I believe it's 25 to Taco, or 20. Probably 25 from the way we came. So we're going up. It's a slight grade. It says 2.7. I thought it was slight, but and the wind is in our face. So we're going to turn. It was a very cool one, and the wind was blowing from the north. So once we turn, I'm going to drift to the right and wave them up. Right there. This is Lone Star Parkway. This is the southwestern end of where we usually come from in the other direction to Taco. So we had a good turnout today. At this point, we lost the first guy in the neighborhood. Then we lost Roar, who sprinted up that hill and overexerted himself. He never got a chance to recover. He ends up catching up later when we get to the light, and I think it's off camera at that point. So I don't know about what you did this weekend, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. Remember, get your K's in and keep every doctor far.